Oh well, a deal is a deal.
Title of this segment is A Case of Hennessy and 7 Caskets. This was some strange shit.
Hey, this is Glendon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. The title of this video, A Case of Hennessy and 7 Caskets. This isn't a great unit story. This isn't a bad unit story. This is a funny unit story. If you're in the world of buying storage auction units, you know that you can get any and everything. That's part of the excitement. Little did I know when I bought this unit about 7 years ago, I was going to have plenty of excitement. It was up in Decatur, big unit, huge unit. And I could tell, as some people are fond of saying, it was a estate unit, an estate. What I would classify the unit of an older person. And there was a lot of cool stuff in there, but it was a lot. It was really packed. After I bought it, which is a story into itself, because there was about 15 people at the auction, and this is back in the days when a lot of people couldn't move heavy units. A lot of folks just backed off. I mean, I've gotten units like this for $1. Well, I'll go through it, and there's this old guy, and I've never seen him before nor since, and he's like, I'm gonna get me that unit. Like, okay. I had already seen $1,000 at the door, so go ahead, partner. And he bids, but he's like one of those irritating bidders, because I would bid and he would go, And I mean, you could just go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 20 Mississippi, and he's still sitting there contemplating what he's going to bid. But long story short, to just save you the drawn out bidding, I got it for $65. I was happy as hell because I was prepared to go much higher. Now, to pulling out the stuff, one of the nicest finds was this really nice organ. It played and everything, and I actually knew someone else looking for the organ, and we worked out a nice deal. Got $500 for that. Just pulling stuff out, and it was like an etagere, very nice dining room set, all kinds of really cool stuff, and the money was just, and I was really happy. And that's before I had my full setup. So I only had a 17-foot truck, so I filled it up, and I was loading this sucker by myself. It was taking all day. Go back, take the stuff, and then take it and put it in my storage space. I come back the next day, and that's when it gets really interesting, because I'm pulling stuff out, and then there's this area that's got movie blankets all over the stuff. My mind, I'm thinking, hey, it's furniture. First blanket I moved, I found a case of Hennessy. Hennessy Reserve, the nice stuff, the good stuff. The box was still sealed up. I ripped it open. They were all in there. I was like, oh, here's a tip for you. Since you're not supposed to be selling alcohol, you could give someone as a favor. You give a bottle or two to someone as a favor, because you're not selling it to them, but you can realize the benefit. But I didn't sell any of that stuff. Actually, I think the last bottle went last year. It lasted a long time. But case of Hennessy, then I'll pull out the other stuff. And that's when it gets really weird, because I moved some of the moving blankets, and it's a casket. And the first thing that comes to my mind, because you hear all these stories, hey, have you ever found a body in there? Seriously, have you ever found a body? And I'm always going, no, I haven't found a body, nor do I want to. But at that point, I was still a little green, just a little bit over a year in the business. I was still a little green. And I really did want to open up the casket. I really did. I was like, what? If something was in there, I'm not going to lie, I would have shit my pants, just to be honest with you. I manned up, grabbed my nuts, got my courage, and I flipped open the lid of what was the first of 7, because I was thinking, all right, maybe it's just a casket. It never dawned on me that it would be 7 caskets. And I flip it open, and it's empty, and it has that, new item smell. I'm like, oh, okay. Talking about being prepared like a mofo. Dude was prepared for everything, because this guy was a military vet, He had any and everything in that unit. Some nice shotguns, some nice rifles, no pistols. But, man, so I'm looking at the casket, and I'm like, wow, this is not what I had bargained upon. Then I started moving other blankets, and then it's even more caskets. There are 3 the same exact color. There's 3 another color. Then there's this one that is this very pristine, I guess, heavenly white. I don't know. I was like, okay, so what am I going to do with caskets? And, I'm not mad. I'm not mad because I was going to make plenty of money on the unit. It was just, how do you sell a casket? Now, this is the comedy. At that point, I used Craigslist like it was my personal servant. So the caskets went on Craigslist. I called up a few funeral homes, and they were kind of like, we have our own suppliers. Thank you very much. And I don't know if it's like, they couldn't guarantee these things. Maybe that was it, because it just wasn't working out. Then I put a list, an ad. Then I put an ad on Craigslist. And then I started getting the strangest calls because I don't know if they're golf people. One guy who bought one of the caskets showed up in a hearse. One of those big 1957 caddies with the fins. He showed up, pulls up in the parking lot. The thing, he's got the heavy metal trunk. He gets out, and just as you're imagining what type of person would drive a vehicle like that, I imagined the same thing, and that person got out. He had like bright red hair down to his ass. It's a hot ass day in July. He's got leather on, silver rings and jewelry all over the place, and boots. And when he walked, he jingled. Ching, ching, ching. Hey, you're the guy with the casket? Yeah, I got the casket. I go back there and I show it to him. He's like, I've always wanted one of these. I mean, it just got weird. I didn't ask what he was going to do for it, nor did I care. And he said, I'll take it, and he paid me $250, took the casket, and went on. Then the next person, they thought it was a joke because they were like lit up high, whatever. And they come and it's like, oh my God, he really has caskets. Oh my God, what are you going to do with those caskets, big man? What are you going to do with the caskets? I mean, man, it was one of those days. They just came out, poked fun, really were not serious about buying the caskets because they thought it was just a joke. Then I had a really nice lady that was a member of a theater group, and they bought 2 caskets as props. And she came in and she was real nice and normal, and not to say the guy driving the hearse wasn't normal, but I don't know if we go to dinner. Just saying. She came in and she said, we're always looking for authentic props. This is wonderful. This is great. I only need one, but I guarantee you, if I get one, I'm gonna get home and I'm like, God, I wish I had got the other one because I could either sell it to another group or we may do something special with it. So she, I cut her a deal, $400 for 2 caskets. So that leaves me 4. Then I went ahead and went back home and I started calling up other theater groups, and that's how I was selling all the caskets. But the last and final casket actually went to someone who was making final arrangements. A long time ago, one of those jobs in the newspaper I answered, I was selling final arrangement insurance. I didn't know what that meant. I just thought, it was insurance. It's a burial policy. So the guy comes in, and he's a little guy. He's an old dude, and he comes in. You're the one with the caskets. I've got some caskets. Well, really, I've got one left, and it was the heavenly white. I was like, well, this is the only one I have white. He comes in. I thought about it because my daughter heard me talking about how I wanted to be buried, and she was on Craigslist and she saw some caskets, and I thought about it. When you're dead, you can't pick out your own casket. Something happened, I could be buried in some shit I don't want. That's exactly what he said. And And I was like, well, yeah, you got a point. So this morning, I got up and I decided to plan the funeral that I want. You know, my wife, you know, God rest her soul, she didn't get to plan the funeral, and I did it. And you know, sometimes I get the feeling she wasn't happy. You know, just stuff around the house. But don't look at me like that. I'm serious. And I'm looking at him like, okay, whatever you say, little old man. He's like, well, let me look at the casket. Let me look at it. That looks kind of like the deluxe model. It's got all the ornaments and stuff on it. And he went over and he opened it and closed it. It's well built. I like that. And then this is what sold him. This is what sold him. There was a little sticker on there. Made in America. Made in America. That's it. I want it. I'm American born, and when I die, I'm going to be American dead in an American made casket. Yes. This is it. How much, son? It's like $250. I'll take it. Then he whips out a little phone. You know, back in the day before cell phones became so sleek, he had like this brick of a phone. And he's like, yeah, I'm here with the guy. This black guy. He's pretty nice. Yeah, I'm going to get the casket. I like the casket. I like the casket. It's kind of strange. I'm excited about dying. Yeah, I'm going to get it. Yeah, thanks for calling me, dear. Love you. And a little bit more chit chat. And he's like, you know, I'm going to be buried next to Mama. And I think she's going to like this casket. I wonder if she's going to get mad because my casket's better than hers. Oh well, a deal is a deal. And he reaches in his pocket. And this is the thing I like about old people. When they pull out money, it's like neat and crisp. And he pulled out those small face hundreds. There's no telling how many years he's been holding on to that stuff. And it's like 250, 100, 200, and here's a 50. There you go. Will you help me load it? Sure. And he had a pickup truck. And I already had the thing set up where I just put it on the dolly. We rolled it out the door and put, you know, and he came prepared. He had blankets and everything, and we put the casket in the blankets and stuff. And before he goes, he's like, you know, there's something kind of common about this, knowing that this is all set and done. I kind of feel good about this. All right, you have a nice day. He gets in his truck and he goes on about his business. And just from a mystic, spooky, weird point of view, looking at those caskets, just thinking, what the heck was this dude gonna do with 7 caskets? I don't know if he couldn't make up his mind, or, you know, the family casket plan. But this is the kind of stuff that you can get when you buy a storage unit. It can be fun. It can be horrible trash. So, it is always going to be interesting. Alright, this is Glendon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions.